Okay, so welcome everyone, and really happy that you are joining us for the River of the Breath. And I want to just begin by settling. I'm going to do a meditation to start. So, really, now bring your body and your mind together, turn off your various devices, your potential distractions, and really let this time in the river really support you and your internal currents. And certainly, I thought we could just start by chanting. So, if you know the Devi chant, this is the chant to the river, the sacred river. I guess we could say all rivers are sacred. The Mississippi, the Rio Grande, the Yangtze, but also, of course, the Ganga in India. So this is a homage to the mother river, and she, of course, nourishes all. So you can just listen. Although, if you know this, some of you actually recognize this chant. You can chant along. Devi Sureshwari Bhagavati Gange Tribhuvana Tarini Taralatarange Shankara Mauli Viharini Vimale Mamma Mattirastam Tava Pada Kamale Bhagirati Sukadaini Matas Tavajala Mahima Nigame Kyata Naham Jami Tava Mahimanam Pahi Kripa Mahima Mangyanam. So, O river, stream of inspiration, great Ganga who flows across the three worlds as a radiant wave. O pure one who plays at the crown of Shiva's head, emerges out of the Himalayas, out of the crown of the mountains, whose my mind is continuously dwelling at your lotus feet. O Ganga, mother who bestows sukha, mother who bestows happiness, the greatness of your waters are celebrated in the Vedas. I do not have the power to comprehend your greatness. O compassionate one, protect me from ignorance. So the waters are the source of compassion, the source of metta, or the source really for feeling. And really, this is a good time to be in the feeling body because we realize how delicate everything is. That this passage from Dilgo Khyentse Rinpoche, life is fragile, like the dew hanging delicately on the grass, crystal drops that will be carried away by the first morning breeze. So really we see how everything is fragile, that the healthcare system, the body, the commerce, the marketplace, the food delivery systems, and our schools, that everything is fragile in the world. And that fragility is suggested as the dewdrop. So in the fluid body, the feeling body, the source of compassion, we come from the river of feeling. So today's class is all about getting into the river related to, of course, the legs, the sacrum, the spine, and up to the crown of the head. We'll follow the traditional route of the river through the spine. But of course, you notice that the river is never a straight line. So lots of ways we can work with circular flow. And the nadis, of course, suggest this, that there are 350,000 nadis, rivers, like these little rivers throughout the body, through the neck, the back, spine, the cranium, etc. But really, it's the central nadi, the central river that we'll work with today. But we'll work, of course, the theme of the class is the river of the breath. So the breath is passing through all these little rivulets inside the lung. This is a diagram of the lung, the bronchioles, the alveoli, the little lung sacs, and how we need our lung sacs to open today and to stay open in the midst of all the particulate in the air, the bacteria, and potential viral infection. So today's class will be most focused on that. And of course, the rivers pass through the inside channels of the arms and the legs. Check it out. This is an image of the femoral artery that passes along the inside groin. This is the head of the femur, down through the inside knee, goes into the back of the knee, and down to the inner ankle. So the deep thigh is the origin, the source of the river of the spine. And this is an image of a nerve cell across a muscle fiber. So the nerves also pass in this kind of circular serpentine flow, and we'll express that in all of our movements in the class. So just begin just for a moment by sitting to really join together to gather together here virtually in your space, my space, all of the spaces that we're in, but there's really a collective space that we'll meet. And that collective space, of course, is the Chitta Prana, which is the connection of the breath and the heart and the mind. So begin really settling into your bones, especially if you're not sleeping well. I'm really concerned about your sleep. If maybe you've had a lot of dreams, there's been a lot of restlessness possibly in your nervous system. So really allow your bones to be in the earth, of the earth. Toggle your jaw a little bit side to side and really make a little offering of your jaw. You don't have to speak for the next hour and a half. You can just absorb. Please absorb the little offerings that I'll provide today. So as you relax your jaw, soften your tongue. The tongue itself is part of the fluid system, connected to the river of the breath, obviously. So relax the side of your tongue, tip of your tongue, back of your tongue. Just really enter the stream of your breath. That our life is circuitous. We go through many different phases, many different changes in a lifetime. Maybe you've had many different teachers, many different influences. And we're now in this certain time of social distancing. This is the phase we're in now. So allow your breath to be like the river of constant flow, constant change. Feel the delicacy of the region between your two eyebrows, right at the top of the bridge of your nose, like the dewdrop hanging delicately on the grass. Allow this middle brow area to be crystalline, liquid crystal. Very gently raising the back of your skull. The source of the mighty river is in the mountaintop, proverbial mountaintop of the crown chakra. So sense now the river pouring through the top of your head. Obviously just an analogy, pouring through brainstem, pouring through spinal cord, spinal shaft. We don't attend to this river enough. We don't make our offerings to the river enough. We get so busy in our lives. But this river is always flowing. Even though we may not be moving a lot in our quarantine, at the same time, tremendous inner flow. Sense that through your breath, your pulses. Please sanctify your breath with your intention, with your vipassana, with your insight. Sanctify your breath. And from here, just bring the tips of your fingers together like those dewdrops hanging delicately on the morning grass. So thumb tips, middle index ring, little fingertips just lightly touching. Same time, bring the tip of your tongue to your palate. And just allow any saliva to collect. Really, it's kind of like a nectar connecting and collecting the back of your throat. Be still. Be still. Distill your awareness. With this attention to your brainstem, see if you can feel the skin on the back of your skull. Do you have any sensitivity for the skin on the back of your skull? Let that skin, it's really the origin of the river, let it widen. Let it trickle, let it flow from the deep chasm center of your brain. And then with your palms together, just make a little bow forward. And then let's just start our movements then. We just need, I think, half a blanket for our opening movement. So begin by having a bolster nearby because we'll use the bolster today as well. So go ahead and just lie onto your back with your spine and your head onto your blanket support. Okay, and just let the weight of your bones settle. So just sense now, imagine as you drop, I'll wait for you as you get settled there. Releasing your bones after sitting, and just imagine that your legs are like two rivers. So the two rivers are classically described as the solar, the lunar. These two sides, male and female, dark and light, active and receptive. So let the two rivers of your legs flow into your sacrum. Just see if you can feel the weight of your sacrum, which is the Svadhisthana chakra, which is related to the water element. So feel the fluid base of your sacrum. And where your legs come together, where they join, follow that stream, have faith in its course, and go up through your spine to the back of your skull. So the two rivers of your legs enter together. They conjoin into your sacrum, up your spine, up into your cranial vault. So just allow your breath to touch into the river of your spine. Okay, ready? So let's start our movement. So you'll bend your knee, ground the soles of your feet. We're gonna do our first spinal wave. So interlace your fingers behind your head. Take your breath in, and then with an exhale, really round your back. Scoop your tailbone. Now you really want to suction psoas back. Then inhale down. Just articulate every vertebra as you arch on the inhale and round on your exhale. Okay, so just this is such a very delicate, very non-forceful movement for you just to start opening up the long river of your spine. So arching on inhale, expanding your lungs. The pleura of the lung sac should really balloon open on the inhale, but squeeze it closed on the exhale. So you pull your elbows together on exhale. Everyone goes at their own pace, so everyone essentially has their own current, even though we're all part of the great Mahamadi, a really great river. But we each have our own, we each are our own individual stream. And so from here, follow your breath. Go at your own pace. And on your next exhalation, rotate your head and your torso a little bit to the side. So let's start twisting the lung membrane. So you'll come back to center on inhale and twist to the other side on exhale. Just really explore maybe how you can negotiate how high up you come, how far you move to the side, how long you remain in the spiral. Lots of ways you can customize this movement. Next time you come down on the inhalation, with your elbows to the floor, sweep one elbow towards the wall behind you and side bend. So really close down on the blinds of one rib and open the other side. Yeah, and then go back and forth a few times that way, narrowing one side, opening the other. So this starts to really open up the river of our lungs from a side to side, very serpentine, this movement. You can revolve your head, that's it. Turn your head, look, eyes can look towards the elbow that's moving above you, unless you get cervical strain. If you get any kind of cervical compression, just keep your head, down without the eye turn. Okay, just notice the undulation of your ribs, serpentine movement of your ribs. And then when you come back to center, take a nice deep inhale. When you're there, I'll wait for you. And then exhale, we bring elbows and knees together. Let's really compact, just like your gut goes into the small size of a small mixing bowl. And inhale down, feet down, spread elbows. Now we arch spine again. So exhale, compaction. This is all working with the balance of apana prana. Obviously, when you come up, that's the aponic pattern, which is basically the wind that governs digestion, peristalsis. When you inhale, you're really opening up prana vayu in your chest. Next time you come up, sweep your elbows to one side and knees a little bit to the other. So we've done this before, we're gonna tack a little bit. Just see if you can twist your lumbar, get a little bit of rotation. How long you hold is negotiable, how far you torque, but just go side to side, knees and elbow opposite. Okay. Then when you're back into center, if you want to do a few more, that's also fine, but we'll go ahead and drop bones, letting the weight of your shoulders drop. Allowing your rivers of your legs to flow into your sacrum, and your sacrum flow into your spine and into your cranium. So just imagine this passage of legs, the river of your legs into the river of your spine. Okay. And then from here, just go ahead and bend your knees and roll to your side. We're just going to sweep, slowly come up to center, and then take your bolster, or if you have folded blankets, you could use your folded blankets. And we'll take, or you could use blocks, by the way, so you could put blocks end to end for the fish pose. So we're going to really open up the river of the lungs now by way of the Matsyasana. We'll take the prop underneath your upper shoulders. Head will go back. If you feel like you have cervical compression, you could take blanket under your head like this. You really want to trap your shoulders so you can press your elbows onto the prop if you're using the wide bolster, and really scoop your shoulders under you. And then we'll stretch arms up to ceiling and arms overhead. So a straight leg. It's like upside down Shalabhasana. It's also on our syllabus today. Now really sense and feel the weight of your shoulder. And let the prop be the fulcrum to really open up your lung cavity. If you have strain in your shoulder, take your arms a little wider, or if you get shoulder strain altogether, you could try taking your arms out to the sides. Okay, but if you have your arms straight over your head, palms face the ceiling, extend through the tip of your finger pad, there's dewdrop-like surface of the tip of your finger, and push out through your heels, and then just allow this fulcrum of the prop to really open up chest cavity. Now bring your legs right together and really firm your inner thighs, turn your inner thighs towards the floor. We looked at the river of the femoral artery a moment ago in the slide. So the inner arterial flow of your leg flows up into your iliac artery, down through your belly, up into your abdominal aorta. So really getting a sense for the passage of blood through your gut into your chest. Just notice the rise of your inhalation, expansion of your inhalation, and the spreading of your lungs on your inhale. So if you haven't already, try taking your arms out to the side. That'll encourage the lateral spreading of chest. The head is tilted back. It's definitely the shape of the Matsyasana, the fish pose here. Okay. Now soak in this last minute or so. So when we're working with the fluid system in the river, we're really going for more absorption. So especially now in this time of stress and uncertainty, where our energy tends to disperse outward, it disperses outward. And here we're really gathering felt sense interior, especially along the front of the spine. So soaking in to this shape. Right. Okay, and then we'll bend knees. When you're ready, ground the soles of your feet. Take your hands behind your head again, like we were doing a moment ago. And then just manually lift your head up. And you can pause there in sort of this upper scoop, pulling your head in. Okay, and then push and rise and come up to sitting. Right, so then we're going to twist here. So bring one leg into tree pose and bring the other leg back into Virasana. And if you have knee strain, then you could support your pelvis, or you could sit higher. You know, you could take a 2-inch lift for your pelvis if you get any knee strain. So Virasana and tree pose, this is a variation of Bharadvajasana. Okay, if your belt's not too far away, let's really open up the shoulder with the belt work. I think you'll remember this technique because I use it a lot. The lacing the belt over the top of the femur. Make sure it's, it's about yay wide, just a little wider than the shin thigh bone. And then remember to really reach. And when you catch, have the palm of your hand facing upward. So you're catching the loop, not just the tail part. Then a hand to the outside. Okay. Both hands pull. Remember, the arms will pull your lungs. So use your arms as a fulcrum to spiral. Okay. Now, load bear on the sitting bone of your Virasana side. The tendency is to really sort of capsize and fall out of your canoe. So really descend the sitting bone of Virasana. Pull with the hand that's going frontal across. And I want you to turn your gaze back to the front. So we get this dynamic spreading of the clavicular area. So the collarbone turning towards the wall behind and the gaze softly down. So now where's your breath? Definitely go for inhalation pattern. but also exhale down to the nadir, so you're really wringing out. Exhale to the base. And just, it's really all about fluid system. Relax your tongue, soften your eyes. Feel the retraction of the back shoulder as you grip the belt. Nice, okay. De-rotate back to center. And then we can try to the other side. It's not too high tech, is it? It's low tech. Low tech yoga. Virasana leg, you take the belt, catch the shin and the femur, other leg in the tree pose, and then sort of really reach, especially if you're a little stiff in the shoulder, in order to catch the belt. If it's too far to catch, just make it looser, make a looser belt. Those of you who are more flexible, tighten it all the way down so that your hand is right up against your leg. So then pull with your hand and lift and turn. And you really imagine you have a sandbag on the Virasana thigh. Well, the Virasana thigh can go a little out to the side. It doesn't have to be straight on. So now pull with both hands and sweep through your belly, sweep through your chest, really get your skin to flow. Breathe through your nose, and then turn your head rather towards the front of the sticky setup. Eyes soft. Really let your throat be soft, and feel the river of the breath, expanding lungs. Good. Then release, coming back out. Super, okay? Then from here, just sit in Dandasana with your block or your bolster back behind. I'll just show with the bolster because I have it here. But you could have your hand onto the block. And you take your hands back towards the wall behind you so your fingers face backward. People a little stiffer, you take your hands wider. If you have more ROM, bring your little fingers could actually touch. I have my little fingers touching here, but I have quite a bit of spin. So of course, imagine we're really preparing for shoulder stand and bridge poses to open up the lung area. So extend your fingers, palms are down, fingers face the wall behind you. Really lift up through your top chest. Okay, inhale, soft eyes upward. Then exhaling, bring your chin down. Devi Sureshwari, Bhagavati Gange. So like you're really honoring the river of your breath as you sanctify. So when your inhalation, expand. Keep your throat very soft as you work the water bandha. So the jala means water, jalandhara means the water support or water hold. So it's a sealing off of the throat in the water bandha. The shoulder blades pull down, chest lifting. Hold your legs, fasten your backs of your legs to the floor. Good, and then from here, releasing, out we come. Okay, great, so then you could sit up onto the bolster. You could sit up a little bit as we do the Marichasana 3. So bend your knee, draw your heel close up to the prop. I'm just really snugging right in. And if you're just on a blanket, that's fine. Also on the bolster gives more height for the pelvis. Take your straight leg a little bit to the side, open up the space, but we're going to really sense and feel where the rivers of the legs come into the spine. Theme of the class. Then take the forearm to the outside of your knee. Okay, if you have the range, you take the elbow to the outside of the knee. And some of you might want to have your hand onto the wall behind you or hand onto the block. We're just warming up here, really just allowing more fluidity. Now really sense this down pressure of your standing heel with the foot underneath. It's almost like you could stand right up onto that foot. Pull the bent knee in either with the elbow or with the forearm, or if you're just doing half mast. Women who are on their cycle, you're going to twist away from the bent knee side. So those of you menstruating or you're pregnant, then you spiral away. Otherwise, it causes too much wringing, churning on the uterine fibers. Okay, look forward if you haven't already. So we get this outward rotation of the back lung and the forward gaze. Soft eyes. Yeah. Okay, then coming back to center, just pull knee into chest. And good, let's swap out to the other side. So pull the foot in as close as you can, offset so you get a little space. Then reach the arm around, really lasso against the outer knee, or you hook into the elbow. And closing off your abdominal areas. You really want to compress, especially if your digestion's been a little off, if you have bloating, or you have constipation or heaviness like ama, it's called in the Ayurvedic system, like stagnation. Now really use your exhale to create a little bit of heat in your furnace. So exhale deeply into your gut. But keep your lungs lofted as you turn your gaze forward, soft eyes. Breathe along the river of your spine. So if you can touch your breath, theme of the class, right along central channel. Okay, good. Then derotate back to center. Right, so then coming to hands and knee position, go ahead and we're going to support head with the bolster or the block setup for the dog pose. So now I hope by now you've found just the right amount of height for you, whether it's the bolster blanket setup or you could use the block blanket setup. So, you know, it really depends on the length of your arms and the length of your torso as to what height works best for you. Remember, you set the prop more or less under your navel as you go back to the dog pose. And we're going to really widen the legs into the dog. So feet don't go off your mat, by the way, but just go almost as wide as your sticky. And the pressure on your skull should be just at the top of your hairline, anterior fontanelle. So, you know, Devi Sureshwari, Bhagavati Gange, Tribhavana Tharani Tharala Tarange, Shankara Mauli, Viharini Vimale. So Shankara Mauli refers to the top of Shiva's head. It's the whole myth, the myth of the origin of the river Ganga. She flows out of the glacier, out of the Himalayan glacier. And so the crown of the head is associated with the deep glacier-like source of the river. So anyhow, as you rest your forehead, fontanelle, you're on that source. How much weight is on your head? It shouldn't be undue pressure, by the way. It shouldn't be too much pressure, but you do have some pressure. Now, sense the way your legs join into your sacrum. So your two legs meet into your sacrum, where the two rivers flow into the sacrum, spread wide. So turn your feet a little more pigeon-toed. Last 30 seconds, 20 seconds. Turn your feet a little more pigeon-toed. So your inner thigh, where the abdominal area comes down to the inner thigh and your femoral artery is, spin your inner thighs back. Okay, good. And then just release. Come down onto your knees when you've had enough and just step 1 foot forward. You might want to pad your back knee. I mean, that's bonus. You want to just give you a little bit of padding there. So sense now stability. You might want to be near the wall because we're just going to reach back and catch hold of the foot this way. So, you know, if you need to use a chair or a wall for your free arm, you can. Now, if the foot's difficult to catch, you could use a belt. Don't go too quickly. Sometimes, you know, we spasm on the plantar fascia or in the hamstring. So catch hold of the foot and seal off the back of your knee where your calf muscle and your hamstring come together. So squeeze. It's kind of like a lemon squeezer. You know how you put your lemon inside the device to get some juice. So you're squeezing back of knee close, and then turn the outer hip of the back leg forward and lift up your spine. So look soft, eyes straight ahead. Those of you who are more flexible, you could spin your fingers over the top of the toes. That's not easy to do, by the way. If you have that range of motion, you turn the hand as such. Make sure your shoulder blade moves down your back. Okay, last moment now. Lift up. Get the feeling of Matsyasana, the fish pose in your chest that we did on the bolster. Sink a little forward. So slide a little forward with your setup. Yeah. Okay. Voila. Switching over, other side. Should we try other side? So step forward, knees over the heel, more or less. Sink down. Reach back. So use the wall if you need to for support. Catch hold of your foot. Obviously, we're working with the quadricep here, quadra 5. Quadriphenia. So catch hold of your foot, draw your foot towards your hip. And now like that lemon squeeze or lime squeeze, maybe it's going to be lemon lime today as it gets hotter here in New Mexico. Squeeze the back of your calf and your hamstring together. So it's really close the back of the knee, because the femoral artery passes through the back of the knee as it goes down into become the tibial artery. So squeeze the nadi, the river, the back of your knee. Now, some of you can turn the hand. That's not easy. You could do the hand rotation over the top of the toes, or just catch your toes and bring them forward, and then raise front chest, raise front chest. Hang in there. Now you want this sliding of your sitting bone and your knee forward. Okay, then releasing, down we come. Just open up your blanket a little bit. Let's just come down. If you have your bolster, set it up to the top of your mat, or you could take 2 blocks as we go into the Shalabhasana. So if you're using your 2 blocks, it'll look like this, like superhero posture. We all need help from our favorite superhero at this time, antiviral superhero, extraterrestrial powers. So hand can be onto the bolster. You could even use your couch, by the way, or you've got a coffee table. What else you got? Bench? Something like that. So turn your toes under, strike your heels back, and then raise your chest up. So superhero posture. Now the navel comes forward. Don't strain. Let's just pause, wait, watch, and listen. My palms are facing the floor. You extend through the tip of your finger. Generally don't grip the block. You could just rest your wrist onto the block and extend your fingers. You could also do it with your toes pointed. I think whatever feels more stable for you, to be able to really find where the rivers of your legs join into the river of your spine. Press your hands down a little bit on the prop. Fulcrum, bring your shoulder blades away from your ears to lift your upper 3 ribs. Rib 1, rib 2, rib 3. Really important in the top chest. Oh, wow. Fantastic. Okay, then from here, release, push up, set the prop to your side, and then we're just kind of pick up where we were the other day briefly. If you have your belt, set it over the top of your leg. This was the heart of the leg class. So a little bit of review, those of you who weren't with me, if you weren't, now you get to really sense the dynamism of the heart of the leg class. So you take the belt over your top legs. So it's, I'm like about 3-4 inches below my hip joint. feet are hip width apart, okay? Don't do it with your legs together. And then back we go. So we really want to find here in this Bandha Adho Mukha Svanasana with the Bandhasana. So you're getting the binding your dog is like you're leashing your dog, and now you are ticking your feet just a little bit pigeon-toed. So just kick your heels out a little bit. Spin your inner thighs back, and now harness your legs. And sense where do your two legs join into your sacrum? Where the two legs bifurcate from the sacrum, find that junction. It's sacred where two rivers come together. Where two rivers come together is a sacred place. So that's where we make offerings. So it's where your two legs join into your sacrum. That's what we're looking for. And then just look up to your hands for a second. And then release your head down. Really engage your quads. You break out. Here, take your feet a little wider. That's it. So you break out against the belt. Might give you a little bit of irritation in your quad. You could shift the belt if you needed to. Now, last moment, spread wide your psoas. It's like the legs begin at the top of the psoas. You have to imagine, I imagine you've studied the iliopsoas, that the legs begin just under the diaphragm. So spread your psoas wide. Good, and then walk your feet up to your hands. Just mindful of your own timing, how don't want to overtax your shoulders. And then go hands to your waist. And then push, rise, rise, rise. Come all the way up to center. Just do Tadasana for a second. Stepping your legs apart. I mean, my belt's like a guitar string. So, okay, so sink into your heels. Root down through your heels. Your legs are broken apart, yeah? So you have that firmness. Bend your knees just for a moment. I like my belt down just a little further. So you might shift, depends on the size of your quad, shift the belt down a little bit more or up and then re-extend. Just a little review from the class the other day. So bend your knees, gauge against the belt and re-extend. So remember the heart, 4 ventricles of the heart supported by the 4 ventricles of the quad. So if you didn't get to take the last class, you can really get the flavor of it here. So do a couple of those bending, re-straightening to really sense where do my legs come together and then merge up into my spine. Okay, toes are open, spread wide your root base. Multiple roots, not just one root, many little tap roots going down through the roots of your toes. Yeah, okay, then from here, setting the prop to the side, we'll step out, turn your feet slightly pigeon-toed, and let's just use the support again for our cranium. So use your bolster setup. Press down through your outer heels, raise up through your chest, elongate forward, Prasarita Padottanasana. Okay, Prasarita Padottanasana. So raise your chest up before you bring your head down. Really deliver your heart and your lungs forward. Some of you might just stay there for a moment if your legs are stiff. If you feel a lot of adhesions in your legs, really root down your outer heels. Let's take the arms forward like the dog pose. And now find that top of your mountain. It's not the very crown, but it's the forehead, top of the frontal bone, and arms extending long. So wow. So now you've got, what, 5 points of contact. 2 feet, 2 hands, and the top of your forehead. Are they equal? Not exactly. So more weight into the heels, and about equal weight into the head and the hands. Okay, now pull up on your legs and find the confluence where the rivers of your legs join into your spine. Where's the apex of the leg? Particularly lifting that top inner leg. So take your top inner leg and move it up and out away from the midline. Move your top inner leg up and a little away from midline. Lean a little forward to the mound of your big toe. That's it. Cast the net of your toes long. And then some of you can take your arms back the other way through your legs. It's like downward dog reverse. So take your arms the other way. This will open up the latissimus. Really wanting to do all class on the latissimus dorsi. It's a beautiful muscle. So breathe into your back. By the way, we're open to suggestions for class themes. The hotline is open. If you want to suggest themes, and really be open to your ideas. So I continue to offer these online practices. I hope it's helpful. Bend your knees, ground your heels, let your spine relax a little bit, and then we're going to reboot, those of you who can, and take the shaft of your inner legs up. Now, how long is this hold? We're working towards the 2-minute mark. Generally, you want to build longer holds, that deep staying power, particularly with the sattva in your eyes. Make your eyes liquid, eyes soft, inner ears soft, tongue soft. If your head is easily on the support, bring your feet in further towards each other. Okay, and sometime around in now, I'm sensing you. Bring your hands down, then you can kind of walk your feet in, feet together, hands to your waist, and then come up. All right, so let's do Pashasana from the standing position. This will be one of the more dynamic movements we do in the class today. So stretch your arm up on the inhalation, opposite, hook across the elbow to the outside of your knee, okay? And if you're menstruating or you're pregnant, then you bring the hand down and you'll just modify with your knees apart so there's much less direct compression on the gut. But those of you who are able, you bring your knees together, your feet together, and you use the elbow as the fulcrum to rotate. Okay? Squeeze your outer hips together. That was the corn cob technique we worked with the other day. Spread your toes wide and turn. And turn, and turn. On the exhalation, turn. Don't strain. You might look down to release your ears. And the elbow that's up above you, move that a little back towards the wall behind you. Exhaling, fold down, touch the floor. Release the back of your skull that way. Wait, watch and listen. Just be there. With the straight leg position, head dropped, back of your skull pouring down like a sacrificial oblation, pouring the ghee or the curds out of the top skull, back skull. And then from here, hands to waist and rise, 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 rise. Up to center. You ready? Should we try the other side? You up for that? Here we go. Stretch the arm to the sky on the inhale. Bend the knee. Exhaling, hook across. Bring your hands together. If it's too young for you to do it in the standing, then the other version would be to do it from the sitting position. Or you could even sit in a chair or your bench, you know, your bunko in your house, and you could spin this way. Okay, so whichever variation you're in, get the really spin cycle of your abdominal region. The elbow that's up above you, if you're doing the Pashasana or the half Pashasana, then you move that elbow up towards the ceiling and a little back towards the wall behind you. Beautiful. Then derotate, exhale, release, coming all the way down. Release the back of your skull. Look at your toes, forklift all 10 toes up. Lean just a little bit forward. I mean, I can take my heels about 1/4 inch off the floor, and that'll put the weight into the front leg. So the heel directs the flow to the back leg, mounded big toe, little toe directs flow into the front leg. So when you lean a little forward, you're going to pick up your quadricep side of your leg. Put your palms down if you can. Okay, good. Then we'll lift head and lift heart, and we'll step back into the dog pose again with the feet together this time. Feet together, inner edge of the big toe together, but heels apart. So like you create a little V shape with your feet. As you do that, press your inner thighs back towards the wall behind you. Then set your feet hip width apart. Come forward into the Dandasana, that is the upper plank. Let's just strengthen the upper arms for a second. Look at your fingers, really spread wide, the roots of your fingers. Inner shoulder over your inner thumb. Yeah, and then press back. So let's do one more of those. How long you hold is negotiable. How long you hold the danda shape is negotiable. And just really sense where your two legs come into your sacrum. So have that sense of dynamic alignment of legs pulling into sacrum. Good, and then once you're back into dog pose, feel the rivers of your spine lifting, flowing up in your legs, rivers of your legs flowing up into the river of your spine. Right, okay, then release, come down. So take your bolster. If you don't have a bolster, you take 2 blocks and you build the bolster with the block blanket set up. But if you have the bolster, and if it's a little bit spongy, if your bolster is lost its loft, then you want to go a little higher. Now I'm going to show using the wall. You could use a chair, but we're going to do the Shalabhasana, but this time resting the upper abdomen. It's basically your rib angle. So remember, if you take your fingers just to the base of your sternum, right there is the beginning of the rib angle. So you want to rest your ribs right onto the prop. Then we'll extend arms up onto the chair, up onto your coffee table. You do want your hands up above the level of your shoulder. Okay, so it's a very similar shape we were in before, but now the whole chest is in the fulcrum. So we're really opening up the river of the breath from the supported position. Okay, so don't put your palms flat. It tends to kind of let the arms collapse. So fingertips touch the wall and really lift up through the river of your front spine. Don't strain your neck, so make sure that you're not cranking your head back. And as you do this, spin your outer shoulder down. Rotate your outer shoulder towards the floor. Okay. Then, good. We'll push back into the famous broken toe pose, world famous. As you rest there and breathe, as I showed the next demo. And if you want to sit onto the block between your sitting bones and your heels, by all means do so. So as you breathe for a second, watch me go for the next stage of this. So as I come down onto my lower rib angle, I'm going to start here. So elbows against the top of the bolster. It's really kind of like you're auditioning for SeaWorld, because you're really going to get the lift of your upper chest. See how my sternum is virtually parallel to the floor. Okay, then we reach back and we catch hold of the ankle. Grab hold. I like to walk my hands down towards my knees. And then you press your shins back into the Dhanura. Okay, so go ahead and bring your lower ribs onto this prop. It should be firm, not like cotton candy, super spongy, but not too hard. So if you're using blocks, then put the blanket there. So rest there, take a moment, make sure you don't twist, minimal twisting as you reach back and catch your feet one at a time. Okay? Once you catch your feet, press your shins back towards the wall behind you. The shins are the most active part of the pose. And when you press your shins back, it's going to move the head of the arm bone back. Don't strain. Look soft, eyes straight ahead. You're getting back strain. Try centering your buttock down, centering your tailbone down. We're actively lifting up river of front spine. Beautiful. Then exhale. So push back again. Out we go. All right. So let's see. Watch just for a moment. I'm going to go onto our side and I'm going to take the back leg. I'm going to just show from the back side here. So we're going to come to our side, reach the arm over the head as we do oftentimes in the satya. Then we're going to rest the upper knee and leg onto the bolster and catch the foot or shin, I should say, with the hand back behind. So you angle the bolster on a diagonal so that when you bring the knee and the foot back, ideally you can rest the whole kit and caboodle. If you don't have the bolster, you could just support your foot with the block in a jiffy. If you're doing Jiffy Lube yoga, then you could just do that. Okay, so you lie onto your side, you take bolster back behind you, sweep your arm over your head, catch hold of your wrist, and just side lying for a moment. You catch your upper wrist in your lower hand. Okay, upper wrist and lower hand. As we do in all the side lying work, sink down into your hip. Allow the head of the femur, the trochanter, to sink and try to get your breath into your lower abdomen that's against the floor. Okay, if you're a little tipsy, bend your knees a little bit, but if you can, do it with the legs straight. Okay, now take your upper hand in front. The hand that's on the floor above you, the palm can go down. Let's just lift up for a second. I think that's going to be helpful. Extract lower waist and then lie back down again. Okay, so now the leg goes back behind you. Rest the foot and the knee on the bolster and catch hold of your ankle. Okay, so if you get knee pain, then don't go as far into the movement. You might have to bend the underside of the knee. That might allow you to offset. Okay, so from here, some of you may need the belt. You could use the belt to catch your foot. So here we go. Really send your sacrum down. Orient your sacrum down and draw your lower belly up away from your back leg. From your upper leg, I should say. Okay. And as you do that, the shoulder blade moves down away from the ear. Can you stay there? Are you okay? So then from here, sweep your arm out in front of you. And let's pause here for a second. This is going to change the pull on the abdominal obliques and the psoas. So slide the arm a little forward, but stay on your side. And then sweep back again, catch hold of the shin. Let's go for the second go. Catch hold of the shin, maybe walk your hand a little bit towards your knee. I'll try that once more. Sweep the arm back out in front. Pause there, really stick your down hip to the floor. Don't let it collapse. It's almost like you're gonna roll onto your belly, but you be resistant and stay on your side. Okay, and then from here, release, extend both legs out. Now you're going to have to roll to your back and just slide the bolster over to the other side. Okay, so it'd be nice if you had a full-time prop Sherpa. Part of my job description is carrying props for people. So nice if you had someone do that for you. When you've got this diagonal of the bolster, right? So stretch through your arms, stretch through
your legs and catch your upper wrist in your lower hand and tug and pull. Remember the head rests down onto the lower arm. Reach and reach and reach. Feel the traction of the psoas sinking into your down hip. Then when you're ready, you'll reach back and catch hold of your ankle with your back hand, or use the belt, and if possible, your knee and your foot are resting onto the bolster. You know, if that's not quite happening, you can call your kids over and have them set that bolster so it's right under knee and ankle. So now these are passive back arches to open up the river of the breath. So allow your weight to sink into your bones. Get a good grip of that hand back behind you. Now if you want to try the outward extension of the arm, sweep the arm down, slide it out in front of you. The knee or the foot might shift a little bit. You don't have to keep pinning it to the bolster, just as long as you don't get knee pain. So pause there on your side. Feel the dynamic torque of your abdominal oblique region. You sweep the arm back. So you can do a little series of these. You catch hold of the foot, or you take the arm forward. One setup might feel just great for you in terms of your quadricep or your psoas. Yeah. Good. Take a couple of deep breaths into your lower spine. It's almost like you're going to roll to your belly if you have the arm out in front, but make sure you stay sidelined. Good. And then releasing, out we come. Okay. Then you come the block just towards the top of your mat. For those of you who would like now, we can try the same movement, but this time you'll take both legs back. So you start with the down arm back behind you, reach both legs back and catch hold of your feet. You could use the belt if you needed to, but now it's the side lying dhanura. If you can, you catch your feet, rest your head onto the support, and really allow your shoulder to tuck. So you really want this tucking of the outer shoulder under, so you create width in the collarbone region. If it's too much on your knees, sometimes people get knee compression. This is more of an intermediate movement. Then you just do the one leg again. If you can catch both legs, create the bow, the side bow. You could walk your head back. I'm just going to slide my block a little back towards my feet, block head. And so that I get a little more cervical extension. Block might be a little high. We'll live with it right now. Okay, so really great movement. If you can rest your outer hip, feel the skin lift off of your lower belly, retract your shoulders. If you get knee pain, just let go a little bit. Don't take as much of a bow. Okay, then let's see, releasing, out we come. We better do the other side, right? You just did one side? Yep, so on the other side, you roll, you can set the block, take the arm back behind you initially, and then you reach. So some of you could be using the belt to catch your feet with the belt. And you know, you could do it this way, although it's a little bit tricky to rig all of that up. Do the best you can. Even if you don't catch your feet, you go into the side bow, allowing your hip to drop, your ribs to drop. Slide the block a little back towards the wall behind you so you can take your head into extension, but make sure you're supporting your side skull. Okay, once you then release, when you're ready to release, come back to center. If you need to take a little more, if you would like to take more time, you can there. And then we'll press the hands down, we'll inhale into the upward dog, or do the cobra Coil your shoulder blades down. We've done some real long spinal extensions for the river of the breath today. Exhaling back you go. Okay. Then from here, hold the dog pose, so just come right down to the knees and take the bolster onto the top of your shins so that you have this support there, and then with your bolster, just come down and sit for a sec. Let's just regroup after that floor movement. And rest your hands onto your thigh. Just take a couple of deep breaths here. If you don't have the bolster, take 2 or 3 blankets as your support. So just now really feel the river of your breath expanding up along the front of your chest. Ears level, eyes soft. Okay, now knees are hip width apart. Knees drill down, top of the feet drills down as you come up onto your kneeling setup. Bring your hands to your waist and draw your elbows back. So watch for a second before you go for it. So as I go back, I'm not going to twist side to side. I'm just going to reach the hand back and be up on my tippy fingers again. Okay? So from here, we coil upper chest up. I'm not going to dunk my head all the way back. Just keep your head in line with your spine. And from here, we do the Ustrasana, the camel pose, supported. So it's not too young, but enough to really open up the top chest. You ready? So from your knees, press your knee, head of your tib down, coil your tailbone in, lift, 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 and then take your hands back. Fingertips touch the prop. Lift up through your sternal region and really sense that space in your top chest. Shouldn't be compression on your neck. Like I'm in the pose and I'm still talking. So you're not doing the decapitation pose. Okay, and then push, rise without twisting, come up, and then just come all the way back down to sitting. Rest there with your hands onto your thigh. Slow, soft inhalation. Just now really feel the expansion after the movement. Okay, we'll do one more if we can. This time we'll take the belt over the top thigh like we did a moment ago in the dog pose. Because this is what's really going to hold the rivers of the legs in place. And I'm taking it midway up the side of on the outsides of my legs. So secure your outer legs, sink into your knees. Okay, so go back a little bit, make sure you have tension on the belt. You might have to go just tighten it down a little more. So those of you who can bring your hands easily to your feet, you can do so, but I'm going to just stick with the bolster setup because this is what's going to really build continuity in the sequence. So lift your chest, hands down, tippy fingers down, tops of your feet press, and just feel how the belt holds the rivers of your legs, channeling legs into sacrum, coil your top chest higher. And as you do that, really bring up your side rib right underneath your underarm. Raise it up towards the ceiling. Get the fullness of your chest and spin outer arms back. Good. You feel the belt holding legs secure. And then push, rise back up to kneeling when you're ready. It's negotiable, the timing on this, and then sit back down, palms rest, and just feel the propulsive movement of your breath. Breathe through your nose and let your breath flow right into the river of your spine. Great. Okay. Then from here, go ahead and lift, and you can slide the belt off. Now we're going to go into the shoulder stand. So from here, I suggest using the wall. Although if you'd like to use the chair, you could also do chair shoulder stand if you know the chair shoulder stand. But I'm just going to show with the bolster against the wall so that you can take your bolster, if it's firm enough, make sure if it's not quite firm, that you can take the blanket on top of the bolster, build up your bolster so that it's not too spongy. The block remembers the entryway, so block under sacrum. You could have your feet on the top of your sofa or your bedside or coffee table. And then we press heels, and then you raise your pelvis up. Make sure your shoulders don't fall off the edge of the bolster. So make sure your shoulders are right at the edge, and you bring your hands onto your back. And so we've talked about the importance of the sort of bridge to shoulder stand. Right, so those of you who would like to could also be using the chair. And so in the chair setup, then you could still be using the same orientation of the block as your entry ramp. But what's nice about the chair, of course, is you can really clasp the legs of the chair as your entryway. So as you do the chair bridge, remember, feet clasp the legs and your shoulders to the edge. Okay, so either one, I'll meet you there. Either the wall, feet on the wall, or the feet on the chair, clasping the legs, or you could even use your sofa. If you can't get the leg clasp, then you could just interlace the fingers together off of your head, away from your head, and then you root down your arms that way. Okay, the key is to make sure that your neck and your throat is soft. So you stay into the position for, oh good, we have at least 2 minutes here to really sense the breadth of your top chest. So like we did in Ustrasana, the camel, when you had your arms back behind you, now in the shoulder stand, you're creating the same shape in the top of your lung area. If it doesn't feel right, you could try a couple of things. You could try really tucking your outer shoulder more under, like you're squeezing a 50-cent piece between your shoulder blades. Or you could try raising your sacrum higher. Or you might have to come down and just reposition your shoulders so that you're not compressing your vertebrae. This is not a neck stand. If it were a neck stand, it would be called neck stand. But this is a shoulder stand. It's the top of the shoulder stand, way up on the upper margin of your shoulder. So keep your tongue soft. Can you relax your tongue? Allow your eyes to recede a little bit back. And full diaphragmatic breathing. You can just really sense the river of your breath, like the way the river flows into the sea, the delta of your lung expanding and widening as it flows into the ocean of your heart, or the sea of your heart. Okay, you have to charge your legs now. So last lap, raise your outer hips, use the energy of your tailbone to keep your back pelvis lifted. People who are weak in the buttocks, generally, they wane sooner. So you have to have some strength in your glutes, have some lift in your outer hips. But receive, receive. So important to be receptive in your eyes, your throat, your tongue, especially if you haven't slept all that well, or you have fatigue in your body or nervous energy from this time of the shutdown. So really allowing that pooling quality of fluids into your top chest. Okay, or you're modifying in some bridge pose, but shoulder stand is the mother, of course. So when you come down, you're going to slowly, don't twist, slowly release to come down. Those of you on the bolster, you can slide so that you set the bolster underneath the back of your thigh bone, and you'll take the blanket for the back of your head. So those of you who are on the wall, I'll meet you there with the, you really snug that bolster right up to your top leg. Those of you who are working off of the chair, you can rest your calves onto the chair and support your head with the blanket. So either one is really good. If you're using the chair, then your sacrum is close to the chair, remember. Thigh bones perpendicular to the floor. So arms, let's go for the classic Shavasana shape of the arm. Arms out to the side, palms turning upward. Now, just to make sure back is released, pull one knee into your chest. Soften there, the frontal groins and the lower back region. Yep, try that on your other side. Draw the knee in. Just want to make sure your back is released after the back arches. Okay? Some of you, if you don't feel like your sacrum or your lower back is at ease, then take your hands behind your head and do the undulation, the spinal wave, but with a rotation a few times. So you could come back to this one we did in the beginning. I'll leave this up to you. Some of you will do the exhale up, inhale down, spinal wave, just to kind of adjust any vertebra, any muscular insertion that doesn't quite feel stable and released. So if you have back pain, make sure you exhale more, so strong scooping on the exhale phase. That doesn't work to release your back. You could even come up with your elbows and your knees together. Okay, so some movement like that might enable you finally then to really drop into the Shava, letting your back drop. Allow your whole lung chi, your river of your breath, to pool back towards the floor. And release the weight of your back skull. Sense your back skull also pooling into the floor. Sacrum pooling into the floor. Where your legs, the river of your legs flow into your spine, relax deeply. Relax your coccyx. Relax your perineum. Relax all the structures around your reproductive organs. Really important to soften as you drop. Okay, go back to the bones. Obviously, this is the end of our class here. You're dropping back into your bones, settling into your bone energy. Allow your vibration to be really subtle. Subtle body. Allow your breath to be very soft. Allow your glands, organs to be very soft. Softening, spreading. Allow yourself to be nourished, the river of your breath to be nourished in whatever way you need this nourishment at this time.
Then when you're ready, whenever it is for you, if you need to take longer, do so. You'll just bend your knees and you'll slowly roll to your side. And from your side, sweep up to sitting. So sitting comfortably cross-legged with your belt. It's the last couple of minutes to work with the breath here. So watch, I'm just going to take that sling of the belt over my top chest. Now we're going up around the level of the top sternum, so above the breast tissue, right at the top of your sternum. Don't make it too tight. Don't asphyxiate yourself, but you do want that firmness. So we can go hand down, balance your spine as we did in the beginning, so orient from your sitting bones to the crown of your head. Close your eyes. And just take a couple strokes of your breath. So with your breath strokes, maybe you'll feel contact with the prop. If you don't feel the contact with the prop, make it a little tighter. Don't force the river of your breath now, but just allow slow, soft inhalation, this expansion really on the side rib. I'm really sensing my inhale around my underarm, irrigating blood, lymph through your underarm region, the lateral tissue of the breast region. Chin is slightly down, throat soft, tongue soft. Breathe through your nose and feel this expansion with slight resistance against the belt. So you're really opening up your chest backwards, sidewards, to the front. Don't disturb your brain. Keep your face soft, your throat soft, brain folded down, back brain, however, lifting. Just feel this submersion, immersion into your river of your lungs, river of your breath. The legs acting as conduits, the river of the legs supporting your spine. Every breath stroke a little different. Just know the nuance of breath. If you relax even a little further, your breath might drop back into your back body and widen your back body. You can pause a little bit at the top of the in-breath. There can a little momentary pause of absorption in the samadhi at the top of the inhalation. Pause there. How long you pause is negotiable, 2 or 3, 4 seconds, maybe 5. And then exhale. Try to keep contact with the prop when you exhale. You might take a couple of normal breaths. Don't strain. You might just breathe normally. Chin down, throat soft. And then as you breathe in, if it feels right, it's kind of like surfing. You don't take every wave of breath. Some waves you let go. Don't try to ride every wave. But if it feels right, you could get onto the top of that wave of the breath and pause, wait, watch, listen, feel the connection to the prop. The prop is really advising, coaching, guiding the presence of the prana. If you get the global, like an equator, like your entire rib expands in unison, feel the equator-like engagement at the top of the in-breath. But again, only foolish surfers will take every wave. Like, oh good, here comes a wave of inhale, I'm going to take that one. So be discriminating as to which wave you catch. At about 85, 90%, we never go to the max.
You pause, you wait, you watch, you listen, you absorb. If you've gotten that kinesthetic connection, that yoking of the top chest, then of course you can just loosen, drop the belt down, just kind of let it go. Last moment, just sitting without the prop. Sense the collection of saliva, the nectar, and the root of your tongue region you might swallow, just absorbing your fluid system back inward. This time we're rejuvenating our fluids through this absorption practice. Beautiful. You can bring your palms together, raise your heart inside, folding downward. This confluence now of the three rivers, heart, head, and hand. Namaste. So thank you, everyone. We look forward to this next week. I hope this class has been so nourishing for you. Keep working with fluidity in the river of your breath. Even though you're not moving anywhere, you're always flowing. So we'll see you next time.